What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Forma revival builds for Picnic Felicia, Picnic Flora, Summer Camilla, and Spring Kagero. We have 10 new skills added into the Hall of Forms pool, including coveted skills like Soaring Guidance, Flash Sparrow, Attack Defense Finish, and also Spurn 4. So Picnic Flora is easily one of the better range armors that we have got. She's obviously not a top tier save armor like Winter Marth or Valentine Takumi when it comes to range armor units, but still she's decent enough with her weapon refine, which can cause the stat swing and also gives her the damage reduction. So her weapon does give her the effective damage against beast units, which is not the most relevant for far saving but can be helpful in her player phase in like summoner duels or Ether Raid's defense. And then she's able to have a visible resistance check, which allows her to get the debuff on the enemy, and then she can get +8 to all of her stats in the combat. So she's basically able to have a 16-point stat swing with her weapon, which is definitely not that bad. And then with the in-combat resistance check, she's able to get 30% damage reduction on foe's first attack, and she also gets the follow-up negation if she has got 7 or more resistance than the opponent. So this is a pretty decent weapon refine, and Flora can actually function a lot better as a far save tank because of the new tools that armor units have got. So if you're going to be building up Flora with some premium skills, then you must get Armored Flow as the special. That is the must-have special for her. And even though she doesn't have -1 special cooldown in her weapon, Armored Flow is still going to be giving you that unpierceable damage reduction whenever the foe triggers a special. So it is really good to have, and it's not really all that hard to run her with like Duo Asker, Duo Chrome, or any kind of other unit who can give her -1 special cooldown to make Armored Flow into a 2 cooldown special. So that is definitely a special that you should be running. And you can also get her weapon in the Holo forms to save some divine dues. And for her slot A skill, I'm going to be having a bit of an unpopular option in Fire Flood Boost. So this is going to be giving you extra bulk with the extra HP and also provides you with +7 attack and resistance. And it also gives her guard, and that's the reason why this can be a pretty nice slot A skill for her, because if you run Vengeful Fighter, then you're going to be missing out on having guard. So you can get guard out of this, and you can also run some other slot A skills, but in my opinion they're a lot easier to get than Fire Flood Boost. And if you're a big Flora fan, then you probably have them on your Flora. So attack resistance Unity can work out, especially if you run her with Legendary Maid Robin to stack up the Unity effect. And then Distant Defense 4 can also work out, especially in Ether Raid's defense for nullifying enemies' bonuses. And Mirror Stance can also be an option that can give you the guard effect. Vengeful Fighter 4 is going to be the best slot B skill for her to pick up, and even though it is going to be overlapping with the follow-up negation from her weapon, it is just an amazing armor skill to have because of the special cooldown that you can get and also the attack debuff that you can get on the enemy. And of course, the auto follow-up from this is going to be helpful in the enemy phase. If you don't really want to get Vengeful Fighter, or if you never really get it, then Special Fighter 4 can be the next best option. Of course, she's not going to be getting the auto follow-up out of this, and if you don't really run Fire Flood Boost for the guard effect, then you can get the guard effect out of Special Fighter and just run some other slot A skill. So it can be pretty helpful. And then Special Spiral 4 is also an option that you can run for piercing through the damage reduction of many of the nukes that we have nowadays. You can also get attack resistance far save so that she can function as a save tank. But a lot of Flora players probably already have this, so you can just try and get the variant of this in defense res far save, and that could be decent enough. Just like her elder sister, Picnic Felicia also has a pretty similar weapon that can provide her with +3 speed, and it does have the effective damage against beast foes. And this is a lot more relevant for Felicia because she can function as a pretty nice near save option who is going to be fast, and she can get null follow up. So especially with the release of Freyr, that effective damage is going to be helpful. And just like Flora, she's able to get that 16-point stat swing with her weapon, and she's going to be using her visible resistance for that stat swing. And it's not the highest compared to Flora, but still, this is going to be helpful at like high or max investment. And then she can just get +8 to all of her stats. She also gets the half null follow-up, the defensive half. So it is going to be overlapping with stuff like Hardy Fighter or Savvy Fighter, but still, it's decent to have. And then she has an in-combat resistance check, which allows her to get 30% damage reduction on foe's first attack, which is going to be pretty easy to get unless you face some kind of mage nuke that has a lot of resistance. So Picnic Felicia, just like Picnic Flora, has improved with the tools that she has gotten now, and she's one of the original fast armor units. Obviously there's Valentine Lucina, Winter Black Knight now that can function as the save tanks, but Picnic Felicia can also be a pretty good near save tank and also a far save tank because of the options that we have got. So if you're going to be running her as a near save unit, then you can try and get Ruptured Sky because Armored Flow doesn't really do anything against the melee opponents in terms of the damage reduction. So if you're going to be using her as a near save, then Ruptured Sky is the option. But if you think that if you're going to be switching up to like far save, then you can still get Armored Flow as the special. So it's really up to you and your usage if you want to get that. And then in her slot A, she can run Attack Speed Unity as the best slot A skill to be run for a near save build, because you can run her with, again, Legendary Robin and stack up the Unity effect, or even just against any kind of debuffs. This Unity skill is going to be helping you function as a near save tank. And Savvy Fighter is by far the best slot B skill to pick up, and this is something that Felicia has got now, which you can get from the Hall of Forms. This is a really premium skill, and it is going to be the best slot B option, giving her the full null follow-up and also damage reduction. And then finally you can get Attack Speed Near Save so that you can stack up even more speed. So this is going to be the near save build. She can function as a pretty nice near save unit because of being fast and also just denying follow-up attacks of the enemies by having the full null follow-up, getting the damage reduction, the speed debuffs and everything. But she can also function as a far save tank, and if you're going to be using her as a far save unit, then Armored Flow is absolutely the special that you should be getting, because it is going to be providing you with the unpierceable damage reduction against the ranged enemy specials. And again, just like Flora, even though she doesn't have minus on special cooldown, this is still the best special to run if you're going to be using her as a far save tank. And because we're going to be far saving, Distant Dart is the best skill to have so that it can retaliate back to the ranged enemies and hopefully kill them. And Savvy Fighter 4 is going to be the staple on Picnic Felicia if you're going to be spending a Forma Soul. And then finally you can get the Attack Speed Far Save to stack up a lot of speed. So she can function both as a far save tank and as a near save tank. It really depends on how you want to use her. I feel like she can function as a near save tank even on like low investment and low merges. But for a far save tank, there are a lot of insane nukes that you have to face, and it's much harder to function as a far save tank. So if you're a big Felicia fan and if you have her at like plus and merge, then you're going to be appreciating the far save build a lot more, and it is obviously going to be helping you in many of the game modes like Summoner Duels or even in Aether Raid's offense. Summer Camilla gets a pretty nice rerun right at the time when we're about to get an Arcane Blue Tome. So if you're a big Camilla fan, you can try and get some premium skills on her, and you can also pull for Arcane Euphoria that we're going to be getting this month on the next banner. So that can be a pretty nice tome for her. But in case you cannot give her the arcane weapon, then until then you can try and use her with Seashell Bowl Plus, which is the new weapon added to this Holoforms pool. So you can try and get that, which is the weapon of Summer Tharja. And this can give you a lot of offenses, which is really good. And it also provides you with the healing. And for her slotty skill, you can just run Remote Sparrow because it's the best slotty skill to get for the player phase. And it also stacks up with the damage reduction that you can get out of Arcane Euphoria. So it can give you like 51% damage reduction with that arcane weapon. Obviously, you cannot really get that arcane weapon in the Holoforms. And then for the slot B, you can try and run the Fortress skill as, it is one of the better skills to have. But if you already have it, or if you just want to get some other options, then Brash Assault 4, Seal Speed 4, Escape Route 4, or Wings of Mercy 4 are going to be the options that you can pick up for the slot B. So we do have more options now for the range flyers, which is really good. And then for her slots, you can try and get Guidance 4, which is an amazing support skill for any kind of flyer. And we also have Soaring Guidance now, so if you're going to be using her more with the flying units, then Soaring Guidance is something you can get. And you can also go for the offensive options if you don't really care too much about the support. So Speed Resistance Hold or Attack Speed Oath 4 are going to be the options if you want to go that route. Spring Kagero is the last unit from this Holoforms patch, and unfortunately she doesn't really have the luxury of Summer Camilla of having an arcane weapon just around the corner, so I don't really know when we're going to be getting the arcane dagger, but if you're a big fan of her, then you can try and get some premium skills. And we also have a pretty good inheritable dagger in Bunny Egg Plus, which you can try and get. So like I said, until we get an arcane dagger, Bunny Egg Plus is going to be a pretty nice option to have because it does give you the extra offenses and also has 30% damage reduction. Vicious Dagger Plus or Courtly Fan Plus are also the options for getting the offenses and half null follow-up, but Courtly Fan is present in the Divine Codes, and I do feel like Bunny Egg Plus being the recent option is a lot harder to get, so you can just get that, and then you can stack it up with Remote Sparrow's damage reduction as well. And Brash Assault 4 is going to be a pretty fun option to get because ultimately for triggering lethality of any kind, you're going to be needing to double because you're not the Wind Tribe Claude, so that's why it can be a pretty nice skill to have for the damage reflection. But if you want to get the Fortress skill, then you can try and get that. Seal Speed 4 is again an option that you can try and get if you already have the other existing options. or if you have bad luck getting the skills that you want. And Escape Route 4 can also be an option that you can run, especially with the damage reduction that she can get from her weapon and also Remote Sparrow. And Wings of Mercy 4 is also another option. Now, Soaring Guidance is available in the Holo form, so that is something you can get if you don't want to get Guidance for, which is also a really good option. And if you want to be a bit more selfish in the combat, then the Hold skill or the Oath skill are going to be the options for you. And because she's a dagger unit, you can of course get Lethality as the premium special. The next revival poll is going to be this month on FEH's Twitter account, and we're going to be having the 3 houses Holo forms and also the Heroes Holo forms joining the voting. And whoever wins that poll is going to be getting a revival in November 2023, and the one that gets the least amount of votes is going to be getting eliminated. So you can participate in the voting or just watch from the distance as people bot these kinds of polls. So yeah, that is going to be the next rerun options that we're going to be getting, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps you tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as the Binding Blade Forma Revival badge. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.